I think we're live. I think we're live. Hmm. Yeah. All right, we're live. I think we're live. Anyone out there? We're trying something a little new today, too. You'll have to let me know what you think. See if anybody. Teresa! Well, hello. How are you doing? Haven't heard from you in a while. Dina's Garage. Howdy. Welcome. How are we doing today? You guys will have to let me know if this is weird or not. I'm going to be doing trying to split screen thing here. I noticed in my last one, I went back and watched it, that it was hard to see a lot of what I was doing. So maybe if I leave one fixed and then I can chit chat to the other one. We'll see how that works out. But I haven't been in the shop since the last live. So as you can see, we are still sitting apart. Gonna figure out what's going on. And go from there. Wait for a few more people to see if anybody else pops in here. Dina's Garage says, "How's the Blazer? Still down and out for the count at the moment. Got it parked at the moment. I'm driving the LS swapped S10 pickup, and that just let me down today. As soon as I got to the shop here today, I threw it into park and something felt weird, so I fired it back up, and I think I broke my shifter cable. It's all flopping around in there, so we ain't doing too good. I'm gonna have to. I've got one other vehicle out there that's licensed and insured, so I think we're gonna be driving the old big red ramp truck home tonight, which means I really got to hurry up and get the 64 up and running so that that could be my new daily. So, and then hopefully, once we get all this stuff dialed in and working out, we can focus on getting rid of that 49 and using that money to fix the Blazer and now fix the S10 truck and fix the 66 Chevy 2 Nova Wagon and a few updates to this. All I need on the C10 is the tranny working, so and then we can start tuning for heat. That's what we're working on. Okay, we got a few more people in here, so hello everybody. I'm Corey. This is MadRatt Garage. If you weren't around for the last couple of lives, just been working on I'll walk over here so we can see it a little better. Working on my 64 Chevy C10 and pulled the tranny out in the last live because I got a weird shimmy since I put this thing together, and I think I narrowed it down to the flex plate. And I haven't been driving it the last few years since I moved here in Florida 4 years ago because that shimmy turned into, I think, a rear main oil leak, and also there was some tranny juice around it. So I'm thinking the front pump seal went out. It's all crate motor stuff. There's no reason for it. But as we took it apart last time, I really wasn't seeing much oil. So let me turn you around so you can see what we're working with. And I'm gonna go from there. Got a little bit of oil up in here, but nowhere near. And I haven't had a chance to inspect any of this because I've been gone all week. I've had some issues away from the shop that have kept me away from the shop, but we're back today. So plan is going to measure this to make sure this is the right size for that, because I don't remember if I did it before or not. And we'll make sure that that's properly centered, or we got to put a bushing in there because that could be part of the vibration. The torque converter could be off centered. I'm going to pull this off today and see if we can find the oil leak. And there's some oil back there. None of it looks as bad as I thought it would be. So I got to get this off to see. But I did notice before we left last time, there's a substantial oil leak going on up there. So I'm wondering if that's just been running down because my oil filter is saturated to death. And I wonder if that's just been dripping off of there. So this is the inspection we're doing tonight. This is going to be a quick video, but hopefully get some answers. And we're going to also pull this off just to make sure, because now that I got it out, we're going to pull that off and make sure that that seal isn't leaking. And we'll kind of go from there. So let's see. First and foremost, since that's right in front of me, I'm gonna go ahead and yank that off. I'll set you guys over here. I got a couple of my tool carts I can roll around. So actually, before I yank that off, I think I'm gonna measure it out. So I'm using my micrometer and see what we find here with. That should tell me. Like this. Wouldn't be any shimming that. Oh. Very little play. So that's not our issue. One probable cause of our weird vibration. Go on. I've been thinking that one of two things. This is bent, or maybe when I put it in, somehow it's crooked. Don't know how that would happen. I've never had that happen before, but we're gonna take a look. I need to turn you guys around because I can't see the screen if there's anybody there or not. There's my ugly mug. Look at that. First things first. Anybody else hanging out and about? Say hi. Let me know where you're from. We're just working on hot rods live in the garage. It's completely dry, which is good. Then why? Well, why? We have tranny fluid. I did notice something. Yes. Get there a little bit. I drained the pan before I took this all apart so I wouldn't have to make a huge mess on the floor. Because this crate tranny's got a drain plug, which is awful nice. But after I put the plug back in, after I drained everything and sat here looking at stuff, I noticed there was a leak coming from that plug area and running to the front of the pan. So I wonder if maybe that thing's got a small leak and that was giving me my tranny leak, because I don't see any other tranny fluid. There's no other red fluid. It's a lot of black fluid. So this thing's been leaking oil like a sieve. Grab a towel here. Leaking oil like a sieve. But why we're doing this. I was under the impression that the vibration I have was the flex plate doing this, which would cause the torque converter to do this, which would cause this to leak. But there is no remnants. I mean, it is dry as a bone in there. Really. The only oil I see here is all black. Not tranny. So, comment down below where you're from. Say hi. Feel free to say hi. Definitely going to hose this off before we put it back in. So, well, I think there's no reason for that to be in my way anymore. I'll move that. Time to take a look upstairs here and see what's going on. I'm going to have to pull that flex plate. So, pulling that. Check to see if it's true or if it's bent. I did do some, if any of you are back from the last live, and if you're new from the last and didn't see the last live, the motor is a one-piece rear main style, which means it's 86 or newer. And a bunch of people are saying you don't use a balanced, externally balanced flex plate on an internally balanced 86 and newer motor. May or may not be true. I don't know. What I did do is go to the company that I bought this from, and I went to Summit, who sells it. I went to Jigs, who sells it. I went to the company who sells it, and they all said the same thing, which confused me, and I had to look deeper, but it said balance type, internal, external. Huh? Either you're internally balanced or you're externally balanced. That's all I've ever known. Well, this motor, they do ask for an externally balanced flex plate, and then an internally balanced harmonic balancer. And I looked at my receipts, and sure enough, I've got the proper balancer and the proper flex plate. So either this is bent, that's giving me my shimmy, and if it's not, it's either crooked or been installed wrong. I could have made mistakes back then. Anything's possible. That's the research I found, which I thought was interesting. This should be fun. Find that flywheel wrench. Hopefully this doesn't blow up my bad shoulder. Feeling healthy right now, but that's the shoulder. And a 12 point. I should lower the truck, but it's in the perfect height. That tranny back up in there. Order brake. These 12-point bolts. 12-point socket. I'm not a huge fan. They're really tight. Kind of prone to pulling loose. Flipping off. What I meant to say. Who else we got lingering out there? Say hi. Introduce yourself. Feel free. We don't bite around here. If you're new here, I'm Corey. This is MadRatt Garage, and we're just working on hot rods. No. No. See, this one's been balanced. Big weight on here. February 2014. I finished this in 2014. Ain't done. Just so you guys know, I ain't working with garbage. Nobody wants to talk to me, apparently. Yeah, I agree with you, Teresa. I think a lot of people watch on their TVs, and it's hard to type if you're on the TV. Huh. Double check that part number. That doesn't look familiar from what I was looking up. Thought it ended in a 14 or a 15. A 73. Might be the two. No, different that I needed. Hey, I'll have to figure out how to get something really flat to set this on and make sure this isn't warped and out of its round. Let me turn you around and show you this. Those that are interested in watching. Well, as you can see, I got a bunch of oil residue. There's a whole bunch of oil crud. But this is the rear main seal. And if you look, I don't see any wetness on that lip at all. Zero. So that isn't leaking. There is some wetness there. But to me, that doesn't look like drippy wetness. That looks like something seeping down. Let me know your opinion. If you can say anything or if you can type your opinion down there, let me know. Look at how dry that looks. That's not the problem. And I don't believe that's the problem. The pan. Got wetness around that dowel pin, in the crevice of the dowel pin. Something's been running down. I'm wondering if I just did a horseshit job of sealing the back of that manifold. That looks wet. A lot of room to get you guys up in there. Yeah, that looks wet up there. Huh. That's seriously all all this leaking was back of that hill. Find a way to get you guys a proper vision up in there. I'm gonna be able to. It's pretty dry on top there by the distributor. This is wet. That's soaked. And that's soaked. So it's been running down between the bell housing. And then look at that. Soaked. I'm thinking that is my culprit. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree? That's a good thing, I guess. I didn't want to have to worry about that tranny seal being more of a problem because of vibration causing that. And I just didn't want a problem with the crank or nothing because of if we blew that rear main out because of vibration, that's going to cause some other problem. So I guess that's a good thing. Neither one of those are actually leaking. Still got the issue with the vibration. So is it my flex plate? Is it the torque converter? I wish I had a really flat surface I could stick this on to see. What do you think? Can you tell? I know at one time when I first kind of figured it was something in the drive line, I looked underneath the car before I had the shield in. And I could tell this was wasn't major by any means. And it, was kind of doing that as it was running. But what is that? I don't know what that would be. Is it because of that? Weight? I said you got to run a weighted one. This would be the right one. Did it get warped? Did I get a bad one from the get-go? I don't see anything glaringly obvious. Well, I guess we'll go back under there and look and see if there's any way. Paint peeled up there and there. Again, maybe this was sitting just a hair proud, not sitting flush against the crank. I have some of the powder coating lifted there and around where the dowel pin was, and on this other one, which I'm no expert at any of this, guys. Let me just be completely honest. I know enough to be dangerous, but 14 people in here. Give Corey the thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up, like the video if you can. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So when I started this, we were at 986. Any of you can help me out by subscribing. It's free. I know a lot of people wonder what's the value of subscribing. It doesn't cost anything. The value is you get to see an idiot bounce around in the shop and bang his head. And I got my thumb really good in the last live. Peeled that knuckle back. But no, in all seriousness, we just work on a lot of cool hot rods, my own stuff. That's all it is. I'm not a shop. I'm not a business. I work on my own stuff in my 2-pound box full of 11 pounds of crap. And We're working on my 64 C10 for any of you that are joining us at the moment. Um, had a weird vibration since I built it. I finished it in 2014 and have drove it quite a bit, but the last 4 years it's had a very prominent oil leak that I thought was associated with the vibration that I had. And I thought this was the culprit. I got to figure out a way to get a straight edge across this in 19 different ways to see if she's proud or twisted, or maybe when I installed it, it was wrong. Who knows? But that's what we're working on today. Just working on hot rods. Well, let me. I'll take you over there and look. I didn't even look when I had you over there last time. So let's go back and look and see if there's any indication that would have been sticking up. My luck would be there'd be like a big knot of like a burr or something that was there that I didn't catch, and when I bolted it down, it was holding it just off a little bit. I have a right there's a little proud. See, these are chamfered. And that's how that on 2 or 3 of them, the powder coating's the same shape as that chamfer. This one feels it's got the powder coating in it. See, what I've learned over the years, guys and gals, is just because this was built by a reputable engine builder that's Summit Sells and Jeg Sells, and they've got a prominent name, don't mean they don't make mistakes. I've been really happy with this motor other than this vibration that was coming from in here, and then the oil leak. So I don't see anything that's obvious or feel anything that's out of round or anything. So, oh, and for anybody just joining too, I was trying something new because I noticed in my last live, I'm not a fan of this vertical live stuff. You don't get to see a lot. But I'm told that if you don't do vertical lives, nobody watches because most people watch on their phone. So I thought I'd spread it out a little by, see me back there waving at myself. I put a phone back there. I had a spare phone and made a guest out of him and figured I'd just stick that in the corner of the shop. So at least when I'm talking to you like this, you can kind of look and see some other stuff. I don't know. Tell me in the down below if that's dumb or not. Hey, Jimmy James Garage. How's it going, buddy? I'm off to get parts for the 52 Chevy, so not sure how long we'll be connected. I got the idea from you. He said that's cool doing it like that. I got the idea from you because I watched you and your son do the thing, and I always wondered who I'd invite. And I saw you guys talking. I'm like, you know what? I got that spare phone that I can go on YouTube with, as long as I've got internet connection. So maybe I'll make it a 2-shopper camera thingamajigger. So that's what we're doing. If you just got here, Jimmy, I could use your opinion on something, but I don't know what to ask you at this point because I'm not seeing a problem. What's a good way to measure trueness in this flex plate? Let's see if it's warped or not. I mean, to me, it looks pretty straight, and I can't really throw it up and catch it and spin it. I don't know if that'll actually do anything, but I want to check trueness on this to make sure this thing isn't warped or bent or something. I don't know if I've got a straight edge long enough. I could go several times around and just kind of look, but and I've got a stainless table back there, but it's one of those cheaper ones. So I don't know if that thing's actually truly flat. I do all my carb rebuilds and adjustments on there, and I've hammered on it a few times, so I don't know if that thing's perfectly true. But yeah, I could probably do it on the floor here and see this on the smooth concrete, he says. I just don't know how true this floor is. That's probably not a bad spot over here. Hold on a second. Let me. I don't know what I'm looking at. Light on it. You can only hold it on one side, but only one side's got to tell the story, right? Because the other side's got that weight on it. So, yeah. How about that? Trying to keep my head out of the camera. Can't get my nail under it anywhere. Not seeing the light. Down through. I don't know. So then my next issue would be, if this is true and straight, which it seems to be, my next issue would be, is it the torque converter that's giving me the issue? Hmm. I don't see any abnormal wear marks on the snout. Oh, weird feel on the face. That would mount. That seems good. I don't think that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think this one through. Anybody got any good eye? Oh yeah, I could double check that harmonic balancer. Jimmy James says harmonic balancer. Can't remember what brand it was I bought. It was a good one. I should double check to make sure they didn't send me the wrong one. Let's see if I can even see up there to show you. Another piece that was clear coated that started rusting. I was telling him earlier, Jimmy, is that could be pinion angle. Well, we had thought that, but it doesn't sit in idling in your driveway and just gets worse as you drive. Never gets horrible, but bad enough that you're like, I don't like it. I don't want it there. You spend all that time and money on something, and you don't want that little shimmy shake. But where was I going with this? Yeah, I'll have to double check. My order, my receipt for the order, what I ordered said non-balanced. Oh, and what I was getting at earlier, Jimmy, I talked about before you got here. This is a single one-piece rear main motor, which they say are internally balanced, but this is not a stock motor. It was rebuilt by ATK Performance Division. And Jegs, Summit, and ATK all say it needs an externally balanced flex plate and an internally balanced harmonic balancer. and my receipts say that's what I got. So, but I'm gonna have to double check that. So that might be my next thing would be to pull the pulley off of that and get a better look at the harmonic balancer to see if that's the issue. Like I said, when I found out that it wasn't the drive line, because I had taken the drive shaft off, and a buddy of mine was nice enough to build me a whole new drive shaft that was balanced, which really it did help because the drive shaft that I had in there was kind of crummy. It was in the with the original motor and tranny that was in this, so I knew it was the right length, but it was tiny and it was really scaled with rust, and yeah, I'm sure it was out of balance. And sure enough, we took that out and he built me a bigger, better drive shaft and balanced it with all new yokes, and it smoothed out considerably, but it never went completely away. So never went completely away. And that's when, after that trip, I was sitting in my driveway thinking, what in the world could that be? And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm sitting here at a dead stop and it's doing it. you know, you just think when you're driving it was going on, because I rebalanced wheels. I went through a whole bunch, and the other buddy of mine worked at a Chevy dealership, and they had this crazy uh new balancer at the time that uses like 15 lasers and all this stuff, and it can even scuff the tires, like if the tires are out of balance or whatever. So he checked all my tires, and one tire was off, like by just one weight that they added, and that was it. Otherwise they were fine, so that wasn't the issue. Yeah, I agree with you. I've only used Jimmy James says I have only used either internal only or external, never a combo. I know. I was reading that and I'm like, this is the newest motor at the time, the newest small block I'd ever dealt with. Well, probably still, other than an LS. Uh, Everything I've ever dealt with is always like a 60s, 70s era small block that we've rebuilt or built up or did stuff to. 327 in this is from a 66, and the motor in the Mazmad's a 71, and all of those are externally uh, weighted. So um, when I got to looking in the description on Summit, it said right there internally slash externally balanced. I'm like, what does that mean? That doesn't answer any questions for me. And then I got to reading on ATK's website, and it still doesn't make sense the way they worded it. It says you use an external weighted flex plate, but the crank is balanced in the front. So you use a non-balanced harmonic balancer because the crank is partially balanced. Any of you have ever heard that? Let me know. But on their website it says non-balanced harmonic balancer, balanced flex plate. So that's supposedly what it has. Vincent, crankshaft balanced. Supposed to be. It's supposed to be, according to the website from the people I bought it from. It's supposed to be. That's what we were just talking about. It's like they worded it funny. I'd never heard of it. Something to do with, yeah, like the front part of the crank is balanced. What does that mean? Why would you only balance partially? Unless they're doing it for the thrust angle or something. I don't know. But their ATK's Performance Engine series have great reviews, and even better now, and have been nothing but great on the phone with me in past when I've had questions about stuff. So, and as I was saying earlier, you can be the best company on the planet. That doesn't mean you didn't make a mistake somewhere. But what I was saying, when I got back and I still felt that vibration vibrating in the driveway, I climbed underneath the car, and I didn't have my at the time I didn't have my tranny shield on, the harmonic or torque converter shield on, so I could look under there, and it was doing this. Now I don't know if it was, I mean, because I'm looking at it and it's doing this as it's idling, and I would think it needs to be perfectly smooth, but that little bit, I mean, if it had been doing this, I get it. I'd been 100% flex plate. But it was doing it a little bit, you know? It was just a little off center vibration on that flex plate. And it made me think, okay, well, it's a very small vibration, but it gets worse as I drive. And could have been, I don't know. Don't know. Everything I thought I would see taking this tranny out has not happened. For those of you new here, and just catching up to what I'm doing, um, the reason I've got the tranny out, as I just mentioned, I've always had this little vibration and narrowed it down to the flex plate, and wasn't bad enough for me to just drop everything I was doing and pull the tranny and figure it out. Uh, but when I moved to Florida here 4 years ago, I drove it. First couple of weeks I was down here, I drove it, and when I went to move it one time, there was a big oil puddle and a smaller transmission fluid puddle, back to back, touching each other directly underneath the shield. I thought, okay, that vibration is definitely the flex plate, and it threw out the rear main and it threw out the seal on the tranny. And what we've come up with tonight, inspecting and trying to figure this out, um, Vincent says only the machinist knows, and he's not talking. Yeah, that's that's for sure. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't even work there anymore because this was a problem. Who knows? But um, so I thought I'd be looking at doing a rear main, sealing the tranny, and would see a problem with the flex plate. Well, just flat pieces of concrete, and I can't find a single warpage in that flex plate. Checked all the mating surfaces, everything's clean and smooth. I'll take you under there because if you're new and you just got here, I'll show you what I'm dealing with for oil leak. Here's the tranny. That seal is dry as a bone. There is no leak with that, but there's definitely oil leaks, right? And then come up here to the rear main. And that rear main, the actual gasket and the lip around it, I haven't wiped it down or nothing. I've touched it a couple of times. Let me get you in here. That's where I thought I'd see it. Let's go around it. Maybe one of you guys will see it in your camera or on your phone or in your TV and notice, but I don't see a drop of oil. That thing's sealed tighter than a frog's ass. I do have oil here, and I have oil here, and over here, which would come out of the tranny, come out between the tranny and the cover. And look at my freaking oil filter. And when I've narrowed it down to, I think my oil sender there is obviously leaking. Is it leaking that bad? I probably doesn't look good. And my little China wall at the back of the dang manifold's probably garbage. Now, if you just got here or you hadn't seen that earlier, you're brought up to speed on that. Let me know what you think by looking at that. I didn't see anything. Vincent says, what engine is this that has this? So this is the ATK Performance small block. It's stock number HP89 if you want to look it up on Summit. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a phone call, I think, to ATK just to double check, because at the time I bought this in 2013. Yeah, 2013, because I bought it just after Thanksgiving in 2013. And I had it on the road by the following Thanksgiving. So, but it was listed as a 355 horse. And they listed it as 355 cubic inch and 375 horse. Well, if you look up the HP 89 now, it's listed as a 350. well, everything they do is rebuilt, so there's no way they're all 350s because they're going to do them 30 over. But they're advertising them as 350 and 400 horse. Um, when I've talked to them in the past, when I was getting things together for the tranny and all this kind of stuff, what they told me was they came up with that horsepower rating because they built 2 dozen motors and they dyno tested all 24 motors, and the lowest horsepower that came out was 375, so they didn't want to be misrepresenting if anybody got a motor from them that, oh, I didn't get a 400 horse one like you claimed. So they said they went with the lowest horsepower one. The highest horsepower one they had was 430 horse. On average, 412 was the actual horsepower rating. For how this was set up, it's a full roller motor with their Performance 202 aluminum heads or profiler heads. Um, a lot of good stuff, and I've been real happy with it. Other than this vibration, and that's where I'm at. I'm figuring that out. So maybe tomorrow I'll get on the phone with them now that I've gotten this all apart, and ask them if something maybe changed. Maybe the current ones are external, internal balanced, but maybe when this was built, it was supposed to not have the external flex plate, balanced flex plate. I'm sure they still have me on record with a serial number and all that for the warranty that it had at the time. So uh, maybe I got the wrong flex plate. Maybe that's still a an issue. So all right, but what do you guys think about that oil leak? Am I right in saying that that tranny seal isn't bad and that the rear main ain't bad? Looks pretty good to me. What about you guys? Looks like that oil is coming from somewhere else and just leaking down between the tranny and the block, causing the mess. I'll just have to figure out where that tranny fluid was coming from because I don't see it anywhere other than, um, like I mentioned earlier. If you weren't here, I drained the tranny on this. This is a bow tie overdrive transmission, and it comes with a drain plug on the side, kind of at the corner. And I drained the fluid before I pulled the tranny because I just hate if something tips or whatever, then it spits out the tail shaft and all that kind of stuff, and just didn't want to mess with it. So, but I noticed that sitting on the tranny jack, I had a little, and I tightened up the plug before I pulled it. I still had a little line coming out of that plug running over to the front of the pan. So I wonder if that thing had just been seeping for a while, and then finally, so I might just do some thread sealing on that and go from there. Vincent says they're both dry. Okay, consensus. I agree. Jimmy James Garage said I thought it was a 383. It's the wrong flex plate. 350 Chevys are all internal balance. Only the 400 cranks are external because of the stroke. I agree with you, 100%, Jimmy. But you're talking about bone stock. So, um, however they rebuilt this full guts, there are directions for the newest version of this motor. Granted, I bought this in 2014, so it's going on 11 years old. But their newest one calls for what I said, the weirdness. Non-balanced harmonic balancer and an externally balanced flex plate. So that's why I'm gonna have to call tomorrow and see if maybe back in 10 years ago they were building them completely balanced internally, and this would be the wrong flex plate. But again, when I built it, I asked the guys at Summit. I said, "What is recommended for the flex plate? What's recommended for the harmonic balancer?" And they went in and typed everything in and said, "This is what's recommended for that motor. This is what ATK recommends you put on," and that's what they sent me. I said, "Send it to me." I didn't pick it. I didn't double check it when it came because I wasn't looking at that time. I wouldn't have been looking for a balanced or unbalanced flex plate because I'd never even dealt with it. They were always balanced because everything pre 86 isn't internally balanced. So yeah, That's where we're at. Nolan, my F100 won't start. What do I do? Uh, well, it's got that F in front of the 100, so I'm gonna make a Ford joke here. Don't take it personal. I work on Chevy stuff, but it's a Ford. Just push it off next to the garage and go buy a Chevy. That's how you fix that. I'm just messing with you. You need three things for an old internal combustion engine to run. You need gas, you need compression, and you need spark. So the easiest thing you can do, Nolan, make sure you've not out of gas and that the carburetor ain't plugged up. Make sure you got spark. And if you have both of those, check compression. One of those three things. Vincent says, wait, the crank should be balanced, the harmonic does its job, and the flywheel should be balanced. You got new spark plugs, but have you checked to make sure you have spark? Nolan says you'll try that. I got new sparks, but still nothing. But thanks. Make sure you got spark. Sergio Morano Gomez. Hello from Spain. Hello, Sergio. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. I'm Corey, and obviously you saw the title. This is MadRatt Garage, where I just work on my own personal stuff. I'm not a shop. I'm not a professional. I just work on my own hot rods. And that's what we're doing today. Cool to hear somebody here from Spain, though. That's pretty neat. Yeah, Nolan, just make sure you got spark. Do you know how to check spark? That's where I always start if they're not working. If the truck's been sitting a while, it might just be the points in the distributor. Go in there and give them take your distributor cap off, give them a little flick, knock any corrosion off, put it back on, and see if you got spark. Actually, you can crank it while you're looking at them, and you'll see spark between the points. Easy way to look. Yeah, appreciate you guys all stopping by to see my frustration. Let me know what you think about this two screen thing. Um, my last live, I noticed this vertical. It's so compact. I noticed you could do invite somebody to come on your live with you, and I had a separate phone, so I just stuck my other phone back over there behind me, and thought, well, this way people can see what I'm doing, even if I walk off screen. I'm not off screen. See, I'm still over here. Tell me if you like that or not. I don't know if I'll do it again. Maybe that helps. I can set it somewhere else where you can see what I'm doing while I'm talking on this one. You can see what I'm doing on that one, that kind of thing. And if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, hit that like button. We're trying to get that 1,000 subscribers, guys, and really helps the YouTube algorithm to see the comments. So I really appreciate everybody commenting, and hit that like button. And if you can subscribe, I'd appreciate it. If you like this kind of content, I'll give you a little quick tour. Vincent, did you tear this down for a vibration or the leak? Both, or both? Both. I'm going to turn you around so I can show these other new guys that are here what we're working on. It's a 64 Chevy C10, Chevy C10. It's going to be on the channel a little bit more here. It's on bags. You can see that the wheel's nice and tucked. That's a 56 Chevy Nomad that I've been working on. I got videos on the channel of that. It's been in my family for 49 years. This is a 1966 Chevy 2 Nova Wagon, long roof. So that's the different stuff I work on my channel. If that's something you like, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, check it out. Go to my library on the channel there. Subscribing's free, and you can go on there and see all the different stuff I did to the 56. We call that Mosmad because it used to be my mom. She used to drive it to work back in the summers when we lived up north. I bought it like 9 years ago, and I bought the Nova Wagon at an auction. So I got a video of picking that up from the auction and bringing it back to life. But it's got a lot of unknowns that we need to go through and find and fix. So that's going to be new on the next on the chopping block for getting some video content. But we're making low life. I lovingly call my C10 low life because it's bagged and rides low, and we like the low life. um, so that's going to be my new daily driver. I've got a 03 S10 that's been LS swapped. That it's my daily driver that kind of let me down today. Um, got to the shop. Something felt weird when I put it in park, and then I kind of went back to feel it, and I think my shift cable snapped. So I've got no way home tonight. I'm gonna have to fire up the old ramp truck. It's the only thing I got that's insured and registered, and drive that home tonight. And we priorities now are to get this going and make it my daily again. So did I tear? Yeah, we already said that. Tear down for the vibration or oil leak, both. Uh, that's a rare bird, the Nova. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They're getting real popular. The 66 and 7s, I think, are more rare than the earlier ones because I see a lot more of those. I don't see that era. This was it was built. I can turn you around and show you a couple things that are kind of cool about it. It was built in the 90s. I think it was like a pro street styling, but they chromed a bunch of stuff. And it's got these big monster headers on it. I don't know if you can see those or not. It's maybe too dark, but got these monster headers on it, and it's very, very unassuming with no dish on the rear wheels there. But look at how huge some things are. They're 12.5-inch wide Pro Tracks on there, 12-inch rims, wide rims, but they never. It's all in the back spacing. Kind of cool. Like I said, I bought it, no information on it at an auction. I got it for. I've always wanted one. Look at that meat, and still where the leaf spring is, all that room that if I wanted to shorten the rear end, I could get one heck of a hog under there. You know anything about Chevy 2's? A 225 is about as wide as you can normally get on the back of one of these. Maybe a 245, and you got to really be diligent about the offset, or they rub on the leaf springs. They just weren't. They were grocery getters. They weren't meant to be performance vehicles. So Teresa asking, how about the flower truck? Yeah, that one runs and drives and has the. She's asking about my 1964 Grumman Olsonette step van. You can drive that home tonight, but the gas gauge don't work, and I don't know how much fuel's in it right now. I know I've got 5 gallons in the ramp truck, which is enough to get me to the gas station and fuel it up. So we've had a rash of people stealing gas around here. So I just, without having the gas gauge, that one doesn't have a lock-in gas cap on it. I'm just worried somebody siphoned and I won't make it down the street, and then I'm stuck with that sitting on the side of the road. So I think we're taking the ramp truck home. So yeah. So yeah. Hit the like if you like this kind of stuff. All of this is going to be back on the channel again. We've got stuff over the summer down here in Florida. Summer's like winter up north. Everybody works on their hot rods in the winter in their garage because they can't drive them. It's too cold. And down here, it's too dang stinking hot in the summer. So I lock myself in the garage here and work on more stuff. Going to be pulling the motor out of the 56 because I really want to detail that engine compartment and really detail a bunch of the wiring. The 66 wagon, we've got a mushroomed valve on there, and I think a wiped out cam. So we're going to be pulling, at the very least, pulling the head off to fix the valves, and then obviously inspecting the camshaft to see if that was the problem. That's a long story. There's videos on that. Check it out on the channel. Vincent wants to know, what part of Florida am I in? I'm in Port Charlotte. I'm on the Gulf of America side, Gulf of Mexico side. Just about an hour and a half south of Tampa. Where are you from, Vincent? I hope they'd find that funny. Well, I think I'm as far as I can go today without having some answers from ATK on my exact build. So let me take you outside here and show you a few things I'm talking about. Ooh, looks like it might start raining. Get dark. That's a 49 Chevy there. South Carolina, originally. Don't walk outside too far. Lose my internet. Well, it'll switch over. If I lose you guys, we'll see you next time. But there we go. Now we're on regular streaming. Okay, so that's the 1964 Grumman Olsenat. Runs like a little sewing machine. Just I wish I knew if I still had gas in it or not. And then, ooh, yeah, we're getting a storm tonight. This is what I'm gonna drive home. Sucks not being able to zoom. 1989 Chevy C3500 wrap truck. I bought that to haul some barn finds and find and do projects, moving down here to Florida. And sold my semi, and I said, I'm getting one toy out of it, and that's my toy hauler. So I drove semi for 11 years. And, just planning on playing with cars and toys, and bought that to pick them up, haul them back. Easier to store that in a trailer and a truck. That wind's picking up, starting to rain. Oh, but like everybody, the economy crushed me. Turned all the value of the price range of cars I like to deal with into that's an expendable, or what do they call that? Expendable expense or expendable cash expense. Most people are still trying to buy eggs, and don't have that extra $3,000-4,000 for a drivable hot rod they can work on. So, anyways, so I thank each and every one of you for showing up today. Not sure if we'll do another live about all this, but I'll definitely do a video about it one way or another. Might do a live. We'll see. And let you know what I've come up with. Actually, I think we'll keep doing lives on this, to be honest with you. It's more interesting talking to you guys and getting your input. But if you can help a guy out, help me get to that 1,000 subscribers. Subscribing's free. Each and every one of you that can help me out, I'd appreciate it. And we'll come back and do another shorty When I talk to ATK, I'll get back to you and let you know what I find out. And if that is the wrong flex plate, we'll have to get that ordered, the right one. If it's the right flex plate, I don't know what the answer is at this point. I got a transmission repair guy across the other side of the parking lot from me. I don't know if he's got a way to check the balance on my torque converter to make sure that's not the problem. Got a few things to figure out for sure. And Vincent says you do have some vehicles piled up, been collecting for a while. I have. I have. It's an addiction. I have cars piling up, collectors, and if you haven't noticed in my 2-pound box that is full of 11 pounds of crap, I am crammed in this place. Because I'm a tool hoarder too. I buy, because I can do the work myself, I'll look at it and be like, I don't have the tools to fix that. It's going to cost me $300 to take it to somebody else to do it, or it'll cost me $400 if I buy the own tools, and I'll always have them. So I just end up spending the extra money buying the tool, and that way I think, I break even the next time I use them. So, and this was the biggest place I could find down here when I moved down here. So it's not anywhere near big enough, but it does the job. I'm happy to have it. I'm thankful to have it. I'm thankful to have found it, and it's that affordable. If they raise the rent on me again, it's going to be an issue, and that's why it would be nice to have YouTube be a side gig that maybe, just maybe, we can at least pay the bills around here, and that'd be cool. At least an extra $500-600 a month would be cool, wouldn't it? Like a little part-time gig. So no matter what, I film it because I like to do, and I'm working on the stuff anyways. It just takes me a little extra time to set up cameras and move things around. But I'm just a guy working in his garage like everybody else. So if you like that kind of content, I hate to beat a dead horse, but like, comment, and subscribe. You'll help this guy out. All right, guys. I'm going to see you the next time. Appreciate you commenting down below and hanging out with me in the shop. But I got to go work on something. We'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate you.